Hey, Spartan fans, welcome into this latest edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beat reporter for Michigan State Spartans on SI, Aidan Champion. Michigan State now looking ahead to Boston College, hosts the Eagles on Saturday for its second game of the season. Three straight home games to start the year, needs to start 3-0. That would be tremendous for its bowl game endeavors, and we'll give it a great start before it heads out on the road for two challenging road games to start Big Ten play against USC and Nebraska. It's got a bye in between those two games, which is fortunate for them, but ultimately you do need to capitalize on these first three games, and Boston College, of course, is going to be the biggest challenge of those three. Now, everything I feel in this game comes down to Michigan State, just as it did last year. I mean, the Spartans did everything they could to lose that game. They hurt themselves. We know that. There's no question about it. They had opportunities to win that game, had a few plays here or there gone differently. Michigan State would have won that game, would have started the season 4-0, and could have been a big difference maker in the overall outlook of their season. I'm not saying they would have gone on to beat Ohio State and Oregon, but would have given them a little more confidence, get a nice big road game in a tough environment against a solid Boston College team, and would have made a bowl game, and that would have been great for Jonathan Smith's first year. We'd be looking at this team, this program in general, a lot differently. Be looking at Jonathan Smith and his staff in a much different light, but one game can make all the difference, and it did for Michigan State last year. There were some other games probably could have won had it just cleaned up the mistakes, but again, going to be the same case on Saturday when the Spartans host Boston College. Here's the biggest challenge for Michigan State going forward: consistency. And that's the name of the game. I mean, that's every team. That's the issue for every team. Consistency. Consistency. I'm sorry. I need to be consistent with saying consistency. But you need to be able to, for one, have better second halves. I mean, that game against Western Michigan, obviously, tale of two halves, kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit that second half. Obviously, offense didn't score any points, and that's just unacceptable, especially against a team like Western Michigan. And if you can't do that against Western, who are you going to be able to do that against, especially when you go up against what's to be a better opponent with Boston College? And especially against, some really tough Big Ten teams you're going to face on your schedule. But second half adjustments going to be key. I mean, yeah, Western Michigan made their own adjustments at halftime, and that was a big reason. But newsflash, every team's going to do that. You got to be able to adapt to that. And this team wasn't able to do that in its opener. Now, it was its first game, okay? You can't place too much. You can't look at it too hard in terms of, the early going of the season. You're still figuring some things out. That's understandable. Can't get away with that against Boston College, though. You got to be consistent throughout, play all four quarters. Fortunately for Michigan State, its defense did hold up its end of the bargain, needs to continue to do that. But you got to be consistent in every department. I mean, things you did well last week, you got to keep that up. What I'm most interested to see is if this run game, if the production there is consistent, because there were some solid games at Michigan State, not many, but there were some games that did pretty well on the ground last year. But overall, that was one of the biggest weaknesses of this team was the run game, wasn't able to keep it consistent. Can they carry over the success from last week to this week and have success on the ground? And we'll have to see. I mean, it's really tough to say, especially when you consider the difference in quality between the two teams, Western Michigan and Boston College. But it all comes down to the offensive line, obviously, and their pass blocking wasn't great. Challenge for them, can they improve in that area? And I think there's a good chance they will once you kind of settle in on a more stable starting lineup, more stable rotation. You're not rotating as many guys. You got more stability there. Problem is, if you do improve the pass game, you got to make sure you've still got solid run blocking as well. It's kind of like golf. I mean, the challenge for every golfer is being able to have a good long and short game. It's the same type of deal. Um, and so that's the biggest challenge for the offensive line, being able to have an uh, all around success in the blocking, both run and pass. And so, uh, can you carry that over into this game? Your success blocking up front in the run, and I think this team is still kind of, even though Mekhi Frazier had the game he did, I think they're still looking um, at what they want to do in terms of playing those three backs with him, Tullis, and Tao Tolliver. But I think now that Frazier is your guy. So that's fortunate for the Spartans. At least I would think they have a pretty clear idea that Frazier is going to be started the full way. And so you got a lot of promise with him, got a lot of promise with Tullis. Do you get Tao Tolliver in more on the action? One of those things we'll have to see. But um, I mean, it's pretty simple consistency. It's um, you can't have a tale of two halves. And it goes the other way too. Can't have a slow start to the game and then turn it on in the second half. And it's really, I mean, that's nothing new. I mean, like I said, every team deals with that. You're always talking about halftime adjustments. Um, every team struggles with being able to play all four quarters. Doesn't matter the sport. It's nothing new to this team. And um, all I'm saying is that against Boston College, you can ill afford to not be as productive in one half compared to the other. You can also not afford to turn over the ball because, I mean, that was a huge problem for Michigan State last year against Boston College. One of those things that held it back. One of the main things that held it back from getting that win. So if you can eliminate that, eliminate dumb penalties, stay consistent, I think you got a solid chance at beating Boston College at home. And I think it's going to come down to that. Going to come down to who wants it more. And I would think Michigan State wants it more. I mean, they're out for revenge. They know that game last year was a turning point in their season and a game that they should have won. And I think they're going to come out hungry. Only problem is you can't get clouded by that. You still got to stay disciplined. Can't let emotion um, kind of get in the way of that. So there's a lot of things that Michigan State has to do um, in terms of its own game. Boston College, I mean, uh, you know what you're going to get if you're studying them, if you do all the things in practice necessary to prepare for them. But ultimately, it's going to come down to what you do in this game, I feel. So it's all about Michigan State and can they play a relatively clean game, a relatively consistent game? And those are going to be the key things for Michigan State to pull out the win in this one. So, um, so those are the things I'm looking at. But Saturday, Boston College will be in town, prime time, 7:30, and I know fans are excited for this one. It's going to be a big one, and it's going to be a real test for Michigan State. I think we're really going to find out in this game what we've kind of got here with the Spartan team. You don't necessarily know after week one, let alone against a team like Western Michigan. I think you'll have a much better understanding against Boston College. So we will have to see. But until then, hope you all have a great rest of your week. I will talk to you more before we get to this game. And And yeah, as always, thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate your engagement. You can feel free to comment on this video about your thoughts, what you think the biggest challenge is for Michigan State going into this week 2 matchup. And would love to hear your thoughts. You can follow along with all of our content, Michigan State Spartans on SI, giving you tons of daily content. And we love providing it for you. We hope you enjoy reading along and watching. So, um, again, thank you. And I will talk to you next time. Thanks.